What's up? Total Control 871. Alright, I've been meaning to do this video for a while. It's very cold, wet, raining. Everybody in the Atlantic City Rescue Mission is being kicked out onto the street today. This happens year-round, unless there's been some sort of code blue declared. Mayor Rudy Giuliani, in a desperate attempt to make his numbers appear better, tried to claim that as long as the homeless are in shelters, that they are not homeless, and that counts as him making it better. It does not. When you have your own home, nobody kicks you out in the cold and rain, or even the blistering heat. I know many of you might be saying, I get up every single day in the cold, heat, year-round, and I go to work. There's a world of difference between getting inside of a vehicle, whether it's your own or mass transit, and going to a complex, or even people who work outside, who have the proper attire for such a thing. There's a world of difference. But today I'm not just simply talking about the harsh elements. I also want to talk about the harsh psychological conditions that go along with homelessness. It's PTSD that confines us to our beds, I don't know how to make you understand that we are every bit as susceptible to mental trauma as you are. I understand many homeless people will look a lot rougher than I do. Just because they look hardened, it doesn't mean that they are not susceptible to the mental trauma that awaits them on the streets. In homeless shelters, you have to worry a great deal about your possessions. There's little doubt in my mind that it would only be a matter of time before the Black Rider would be stolen. The missions will not allow my bicycle inside. A lot of homeless people refuse to go to missions because they won't allow pets inside. That's why I try not to judge. I would take a dog or a cat, and if I couldn't give it to a friend, then I would give it to hopefully a non-kill shelter to advance my standings toward getting home, getting a home. But I don't judge them, because there's no way in the world I would ever give up my bike, and I'm not going to be separated from it. I don't know how to convince you of the mental trauma, the PTSD. That show I was talking about, on Netflix, something about the college life in America. One particular episode, a black college student, a guy, cops pulled the gun on him, and from what I understand, the episode was filmed. It was made before the actual Yale student had the cops called on her. So we see, art imitating life, life imitating art. The point in that show, this guy, he had the cops pull the gun on him, and he's struggling terribly with the PTSD fallout from that. I don't have to wonder. When the state police came, there was an entire armada of them in plain clothes, unmarked vehicles, and they pulled out their guns and they aimed them at me. This trauma and so much more, so many of you would just simply say, just forget about it and move on. It didn't happen to you. You don't understand. Just because we're homeless, we're not indestructible. We suffer with a great deal. Mayor Rudy Giuliani, he tries to claim that homeless people are housed as long as they're in a shelter. It might just be a silly little lock from a 5 and dime store, but it's my lock. On my tent. And nobody's kicking me out of it. Total Control 871.